Hello, and welcome to another episode of Black Tower. Um, I'm going to start doing a series on a book that I'm writing called the Book of the Black Earth. It is a standalone sorcery text all by itself. A lot of inspiration came to me with the parts of anything from Alazif, uh, the Necronomicon of Simons, to on down the line. There's so many things out there concerning the Necronomicon and Necronomicon style writings. But now, what you never see is an individual's workings, what they've done with it, what they've become with it. Where they've gone with it, what they're going to do with it. This is what I like to refer to as mad hattery. It's that beautiful thing where we take something so precious, so pure, so wonderful, and we just fuck it all the fuck up. It is the rape of Persephone. It's drawing the divine fire down and then doing something with it because, in magic, you can always, you can do anything you want in magic, You can read all the books. Does that make you knowledgeable? No. You can do all the rites in any book that they give you. Does that by itself do anything? No. You yourself have to put yourself into it. It's referred to sometimes as a forge. Kind of like Hephaestus, so-called made the weapons for the gods. Jubal Cain, who forges armor and weapons. You can go on and 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 on. But the idea is that you take everything that you ever studied on, anything that you encapsulated into yourself, that you took into yourself, that you said, this is what I believe, this is what I am, this is what it's all about. You can sit back and you can read the writings of the prophets, or you can take what's available to you, learn, grow, practice, and not just practice, not just the actual physical act, but actually make yourself a living embodiment of these truths until you discover your own truth. And this is why it's called Mad Hattery, okay? Because what you are doing is you are dissecting the lines. You are taking an eraser to it, and you're drawing in, you're filling in the lines the way you want to. Any practitioner that's been doing it long enough will always end up doing this. They might follow the guidelines set forth, but after a while, then they're like, my intuitiveness tells me this, my intuitiveness tells me that, or, their higher self, or whatever you want to refer to it as. And then they'll start doing workings of their own, We're not talking about some armchair theorist crackhead. We're talking about honest-to-goodness practitioners who have, chanced to lose their own sanity in this. And, and that to me, that's beautiful, because, you're dissolving yourself constantly until the only thing that remains is the pure essence, what is left, the philosopher's gold. Okay. Now, what do you do with that gold once you get it? What do you do when you've I've read 3,000 books, and it's all stuck in my head. Now, what do I do with it? I'm like, well, did you do any of the rites? Did you do any of the rituals? Did you do anything with what you read, or did you just read it? Well, for me, the kind of person I am, I don't just read something. I literally do it. So I'll get on there. And I'll be like, well, I'm going to light my candles. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to do it this way. Well, all in all, at the end of the day, what I came to realize is that, I like the fantasy part of the old ones, Cthulhu, Yog-Sothoth, Yig, Altaboth, all that. I think that stuff is absolutely gorgeous and beautiful on a very primal level. Okay, but now then comes the question, how do you embody these powers? Well, here's an idea. First off, like anything to do with magic, you have to work with a force in question, so all it is a matter of you opening up to the current. Okay? Now, a lot of it, they're going to be like, oh man, dude, that's fake. Such and such wrote that, and that's blah, 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 and that's not really historic. Okay, hence why I entitled this Mad Hattery. I don't give a fuck if it's real or not. I don't care if I made it up, you made it up, the Pope made it up, the President made it up. It doesn't matter. Truth is only what you decide. That is truth. Okay? And truth can have a lot of things. Truth can be, well, you know, I believe it, I see it, I feel it, I sense it with any of my senses. Therefore, it is real. Okay, well, that's exactly what I've done. Okay, so whether or not I've created these archetypes or not, it doesn't matter. But I'm going to create them. So I do. And in my mind, I relinquish a thought. I believe them. I believe in them. I know they're real. And in essence, I have connected myself with these archetypes, and I've made them real, very much as real as I am sitting here looking at this piece of plastic and hardware that's, recording this video. It's just as real. Okay, so let's work with that. So, in all this working, you've gone through the process to where you're like, I'm going to be, a sorcerer. It's like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Be a sorcerer. Because, you have three different types. You have the witch, and witches, they follow after the natural order, okay? This is when stars and planets are in line. This is the seasons. This is, the waves coming in, the waves going out, so forth and so on, okay? That's the natural order. Now, mages, magi, whatever you want to call them, wizards, whatever fancy words you got for it, they follow another kind of order. They follow a Kabbalistic. Uh, they have like a divine order, is what they follow. Okay, and then you have my favoriteest of all, the sorcerer. Now, the sorcerer's been given a lot of bad raps throughout history. What the fuck ever. You pick up a book on Sumerian things, and they're afraid of sorcerers and sorceresses, and they want to burn them and all this other stuff, and you wonder where the Bible came up with the spare not a witch to live. It's because they're not talking about, kill the sorcerer, kill the sorceress, kill the witch. They're not talking about killing the magical people. That's not what they're talking about. They're talking about the people that are actually using their magical know-how to fuck something or someone up. So they're saying, you got to fight this. Well, in their tradition, the Sumerians, they're like, oh, I'm gonna cast magic against this person that's trying to, wreck my life. It's pretty fucking smart. I do that too, and I'm a sorcerer. I call myself a sorcerer. Drudge, a daemon, whatever, whatever mindset I happen to be working with. However, you also have to think of the rules of the universe. Nature abhors the vacuum. Okay. Now, what that means is that nothing is stagnant. Anything stagnant dies. Okay, so that means that everything must be in motion. Everything must be constantly in motion. Nothing remains motionless, or it dies. And since energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but that it just is, then that is a self-sustaining act that the sorcerer must attain to. Now, these video series I'm going to be doing on this concerning my book and how to work it and so forth and so on has the use of this object called the key. Key is just a 3-arm cross with a loop at the top of it. It's a very, very simple item, but it represents so much, and it's just mind-blowing at the uses of it. But anyway, we're not going to get carried away on a symbol. So what we want to go into is Mad Hattery. Okay, so as sorcerer, as sorcerer, what you want to do is you want to recreate the universe how you wish it, how you will it, how you want it, how you need it. This can be constant. It can be just spur of the moment, like I think I need cake on my kitchen table. So you do your juju or whatever, and the next thing you know, you got somebody that's like, hey, I'm diabetic, I can't eat this cake. You want it? Oh, sure, thank you, appreciate that. And that's kind of how magic works. Magic works like that. So sometimes this whole and a harm none thing. Oh boy, that is a bag that a can of worms I couldn't even get into. I wouldn't even try, because there's no such thing as unharmful magic. Magic in general pulls things, pushes things, And because nature abhors a vacuum, something that was taken, something must fill its space. Okay? That's no different than in creation, you know. If all of a sudden a planet were no more, there would be a space there that would be left empty. Something would have to fill it. Well, here's the way magic and the universe works. Something would fill it. Okay? So with these guidelines in mind, it becomes imperative that you understand that you yourself are not just you yourself. You yourself are your higher self. You're so many different things. With all these things in mind, the sorcerer steps forth. In the circle, your circle can be a double ring, can be a star of chaos. It can be anything you want it to be. It doesn't matter. Okay? But what you want to do is you want to have a firm seat of power. You want to make sure that whatever star or symbol that you're using is something you absolutely fucking resonate with. For me, it was my key. Okay? So I start with the genuflection of the 4 directions. You know, facing each direction, you know, it says, behold, I am the key. You know, or behold, I am the gate. This is my key. You know, so forth and so on. And though I'm totally banjaxing that all up and it's my own workings, that is very, very sad. But it's because I'm actually trying too hard. Behold, I am the gate, and none may pass. You know, this is my key. Behold, I am the gate. None may pass, whom I do not allow. This said in the 4 directions, you empty the space, and you fill it with yourself and only what you want in it. This is that space being emptied, and then that space need to be filled. You are then filling it with what you wish. Now, I work with really sci-fi type things, Yog-Sothoth, Cthulhu, all these beings. It doesn't really matter what you're working with, just whatever you resonate with. For me, I really like the old ones. I really do. I love the Serpent Path. I love the Ancient Ones concept. These things from beyond the stars that await their time, that even in strange eons, even death may die. That poetry, that symmetry in words and sound speaks volumes to my heart and my soul. I can connect with these things. What do you connect with? What can you connect with? Well, you know, all these things being said, you know, we work to change this world the way we want it. You know, I've heard a lot of people say that, you know, a lot of so-called magical people, they're asshats. Because they really are. They're so fucking full of themselves, it's not even funny. You know, it doesn't matter what you can or can't do. There's such a thing as having a healthy ego. A healthy ego is something that every practitioner must have. I don't care if you're a witch, a wizard, mage, sorcerer. I don't care what you call yourself. You have to have a healthy ego. A healthy ego works like this right here. Healthy ego. I am Armanasul. I abide in this place between places, in this time between times, in this world between worlds, in a place that is not a place. I am. Now, that centers me. You know, that brings my higher self, my lower self, all my many selves, all together into one place. It says, here I am. Okay? Now, what I do with that, when I go out and I'm talking to people, or, you know, I'm Skyping with somebody, or I'm texting, or I'm making phone calls, or I'm going to see somebody, or whatever, okay? You can know something all day long, and you can express your opinions, your ideas, your thoughts, and everything else. And you may lead the board in the conversation. You know, you may know more than the person you're talking to. That gives you absolutely no reason to be a self-centered piece of shit, you know? I don't care how much you know. Somebody out there knows something you do not, or there might even be somebody who knows more than you'll ever think of knowing, you know? I like to say sometimes that I've forgotten more than what most people ever learn in a lifetime. Is that egotistical? Yeah, maybe to a small degree, but do I let that out of my mouth? Do I shun that on others? Do I push that on others? No. Do I self-impose my image of greatness over others' weakness? Absolutely fucking not. You know, there's no sense in that. That, you know, how can you possibly expect to be able to control or direct energies or powers if you can't even control your own fucking base self? You can't, you know, and that's the rule. That is the rule of sorcery. There are so few rules. It's like I tell my wife all the time, you know, I'm like, you know, of all these different types, you know, she likes to think that sorcerers abide by absolutely no rules. And it's like I've told her 100 times. I'm like, oh no, bullshit. We have rules. They're not strict. They're just kind of like guidelines. Kind of like, if you're not worried about this, you know, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, you know, and then it all falls back on how you know how to bend the rules. The rules. Oh, it'd be lovely if everybody goes, oh, these are the rules, and you know, you can't break them. You can't do this. You can't do that. You know, karma, dharma, and all that. And I'm like sitting there going, okay, I get every single bit of that, but you belong to a cookie cutter world. You're trying to do what everybody else has done. How do you think half magic that we know or can even conceive of has ever been done by somebody who absolutely follows the rules? At some point, you've had to break through the karmic rules and laws that govern the universe that you think it governs. And I'm like, you know, there's a universal balance, yes, but karma, I don't adhere to that practice of thought. I don't. Does that make it real or unreal? No, because that breaks into a whole nother idea of truth and untruth. You know, my truth is your untruth. Your untruth is my truth, and so forth and so on. You know, your truth is my untruth. We can keep playing this word mix all day long, and we get nowhere. But if a person can understand these simple rules, okay, then what they have is absolution to continue the path. You know, the Bible says it perfectly. Let every man and woman be accountable unto their own salvation. It says through fear and trembling. I'm like, yeah, I've been afraid. I've trembled. That's normally been because I'm a witness to something horrible that's happened to someone, and I'm seeing them, you know, lying there in pain, and there's nothing I can do. I can't stop their pain. I can't take it away. Yes, that makes me afraid. Yes, that hurts because, you know, my heart, I don't want to see anybody in that kind of pain. Now, you think, you know, well, oh, so that means you're pro-life. I'm like, well, no. I believe let everybody be however they're going to be. You just don't fuck around in my space with that shit. You know, whatever you want, it's fine. Don't try to impede that shit on me. It's kind of like preaching and proselytizing. You just don't do it. You know, you want to preach and proselytize. How about you look in the mirror and preach and proselytize there? You know, tell yourself these great and mighty truths that the whole world should be fucking following. There's no such thing. See, the truth is a multifaceted gem. You know, the truth is there are many truths, not just one. There's no such thing. There are many truths. But for us to discover these truths, we have to practice. We have to walk our faith. We have to walk our belief. We have to challenge ourselves. We have to break ourselves. We have to go beyond our boundaries in between what we think's right, what we think's wrong. We have to work through these things inside our mind and inside our hearts till we find our true compass and all our workings. And when you come to the end of that, when you come to the end of your base, when you have your base fully functional, fully created, then you can call yourself a sorcerer. Then you can call yourself a magus. Then you can call yourself a third degree witch, or however many degrees there are. Then you can. Okay? And then the true work begins, because the true work never fucking ends. You know? And so, you know, you're like, well, you named this video Mad Hatter yet? You know, really you haven't heard much about Mad Hatter. It's like, you know, because all magic is about illusion. It's about taking something that is fantasy, something that only children seem to have a shit ton of imagination, and how to make it work for you, though. Because unlike children, now we've matured, now we've grown. It's how to take that imagination, make it work for us. You know, it's how we become. It's how we truly do anything of greatness within our lives, to others, for others, towards others, maybe even against others. You know, you let the wrong motherfucker step in my direction, you know, try to take me out. I'm sorry, forgive me, Father, but it was me or him, and, you know, and I wasn't going to die. You know, self-preservation is the law of man. Self-preservation. You will always seek to preserve yourself. The ego is the seat of that. The ego is like, no, you're not going to wipe me out, buddy. I got this. And so, you know, I'm not the mad Arab, but I am my own mad. All right, y'all. Peace.